Hi, this is Claire again, and today I have a book recommendation for you. Tarot by Taschen Verlag, or Taschen Publishing in English, from the Library of Esoterica. This is a fresh new book on tarot cards and many different artists, many different approaches to the cards through artwork are into this book. It is to me a visual learning book about tarot, so to say. You will see what I mean. But it is also much more. There are many informations in it, and let's have a look at the chapters. So first, it starts with a brief history of tarot, how everything started, how things got going, I think you say in English. Where it comes from, how it has developed, because it is maybe just by accident tarot developed. So it was very popular with Italian Renaissance people, rich people, influential people, to have their own tarot cards. And these cards were often philosophical cards. It was like the Temperance is one card, these being in balance and things like that. They were ideals people talked about, and they were in philosophic schools talking about all of this. So it was when the grip of the church, I'm saying it like this, was a little bit softened, and people also from the church started to think about these old ideas from the past, from Roman, from the Greeks and all of this. And it was dangerous at those times to talk about these things, but somehow they started to get their way through into culture again. So yes, this is a history first, and then we have the major arcana, the big ones, one by one, with many examples and artworks. We will have a look at it right now, in a moment, so to say, in a moment. And the minor arcana, of course, too, with artwork, with many different decks. You have such a vast overview. There are also decks from the past, from very recent decks in these examples. And I think tarot is really flourishing today, maybe also because of things like Etsy and so on, where artists don't need to have a contract with a publisher, but they can publish themselves. And so there are so many wonderful works, and some of them made it to big publishing houses, and this is a really wonderful development through the possibilities of the internet. This is wonderful. Yeah, then we have a look in the third part of the book. It is here, it is with Roman numbers, so you have everything at one glance. It is the visionary explanation. We look at the artists, creators and mystics behind the development of the tarot cards. Yes, and also modern art, because tarot it goes both ways. Yeah, some artists are inspired by tarot, but sometimes the tarot also inspires the artists. This goes here and there. Yeah, and the last part is speaking in symbols. This is about practical work with the tarot cards. So we start, and I will show you many pictures of the book. It is really lovely. There are really old decks, like this one from the 15th century, where you can see it is wood printed. And we also have this one. It's a very old Visconti Sforza. Many of you will know it. Really old cards and many pictures. The Mantegna tarot. This one I personally did not know before. Sola Busca, yeah. This is something many people know, because these cards are available until today. And different Estensi is one I did not know about before. So there are many things you maybe did not know about before. The Tarot de Marseille, of course, you know about it. I know it. And Etea, things like that. And of course, Rider-Waite Smith. We have here the classics we know today very good, very well. And the tarot also gets its place into oracle cards themselves. So we have, for example, here also Lenormand cards. It is yeah, you see in time how everything developed, and you see also what was around it. It is not just on tarot, it is on the development of oracle cards too. In parts, of course. Tarot is the main focus, but it's nice to see what was around or what is around the cards. Yeah, and here we are. And there are so many influences, and there are so many cultural influences and spiritual influences, different traditions we will see in the cards. This is what makes it so juicy, because as I say to my tarot students often, every artist has his or her approach towards the cards, and everyone has like one facet of the cards, but no one has all of them. And so seeing different tarot decks is like seeing different approaches to the energy of one card, and this makes it widens your view. Yeah, this makes it more approachable, and sometimes pictures tell more than words. You can read a lot, you can write a lot, you can work out the cards for yourself in many ways, but the pictures are the key. And seeing different pictures opens doors, especially in things like tarot, where much is dependent on intuition. It's sometimes not so important to have a clever head, so to say, but to feel, to see, to get this feeling for the cards. Yeah. So here we go on with the book, and it is a long timeline, which starts at 1215 in Italy, with the first paper mills who are established. Of course, when you want to make cards, you need something to print them on. And so this is a very nice point to start with, because this was essential for them. And then everything, I don't want to say too much, so you can have something to read and to explore. But it goes on and on and on through history. Many sites, many pages about it, but very brief, and you can have a good look at it. It is not too much. It is not like a big essay about it, and you have the feeling you have to study history. Yeah, it is very approachable. And so we start with the cards, and here is artwork from Pamela Coleman-Smith's Pixie, who also was an artist. And this is something this book really opens your eyes for. It is. There were people behind the cards. These people were often artistic, they were free-minded, they were explorers of life. And they were not like, oh, these are the cards and we are doing them and we do it neat and nice. There were often different versions of tarot decks or of cards in the tarot, and then one was chosen. Or we will see maybe the picture too, like Mr. Wade did its second tarot deck. He did not only do the Smith Wade, he did also work with Mr. Trinick to create a deck that was more on Golden Dawn and Hermeticism in a Christian way. So this was something he wanted to do, because we often forget those people were sometimes Christian in religion, but they had their special ideas about it. They had different approaches. So it was a very, very interesting time they lived in, and many influences came into it and helped to build the tarot cards we know today in some ways. So let's have a look at them. Yeah, here we have the Trinick deck I was talking about. This is a world from the Trinick deck, so you can have a look at it. I don't know if it's still available, but maybe with a little bit of luck it is possible. And then we have the major arcana, and they thought the pages start with a Fool. And here are the qualities. These are main keywords for the cards. Like with a Fool, it is freedom, lust of life, beginnings and adventure. You have the key symbols. These are white rose, small bundle, small animal, and oh god, how to say this? Precipice. Okay, this is where my English stumbles. But you have all these keywords, the symbols, and you have also a short essay on the card themselves. It is, for example, with a Fool, it is into the unknown. You have very nice quotes. For example, here from Paul Foster Case, who is very important with his tarot order, Bota. He is a very important person in the history of tarot. And you have the symbology with not just keywords, it is really written articles. You have the attributes, and you have, of course, many pictures and informations to the deck and the artists This is, yeah, this is a key of the book. It is a visual book. Many different approaches, and this is what is so eye-opening about this book. If you would not read one word in it, but just read the cards, the pictures, it would be also that you had learned much about the cards. Learning is not just about words. Yeah, so here we go, and here is the magician. And then it goes through the whole deck. I don't want to show everything, so you can have a look at it yourself too. But there are really, this is a magician. It's just different approaches and so many pictures, and you get it. You get such a big feeling. This is a deck I also want to check. There's so many decks I want to check. You have a list when reading this book, and this list becomes longer and longer. So maybe I just should not introduce this book to you, because you will have a list and you will want to buy many decks and research them. And so this book has really costs attached, so to say. Yeah. Many different things, very symbolic things too, yeah, where you don't have no persons or anything like that, and very pictures that are, yeah, looking at you, like this picture, that are very mystical and deep, and also here very much like art, so to say. So different, so many approaches from different artists. What would we be without art? And yes, artists make things visible, and this is a very important thing, of course, for tarot too, because it makes the undercurrents of life are made visible with tarot. So this is Norbert Löscher. He's from Germany. There's a very well-known deck. But you also have things like this one, which is a bit deep and dark. It is a fountain tarot. Yeah, here Margrethe Petersen is a German artist. Her deck is very well known. And also very symbolic decks, or like here with power animals and things like that. Very symbolic. Anima Mundi tarot, and the High as Hope tarot is this one, which I did not know about it. There are many decks you will encounter in this book you never heard about, and this is what makes it so fascinating, because when you are into tarot for a longer time, you have seen quite a few decks, and you sometimes think, yeah, I know it, and you see, I know when you read this book, you will see that you know maybe a bit, but not everything. Yeah, and I really like it. It is also, if you are not interested in tarot at all, but you like art, this will be something you might like. Yeah, and as I have said, it is visual learning, so I go on to the minor arcana. I don't want to show everything, so you can see something for yourself too. And here we go with the wands, of course. We start minor arcana with the wands. And the descriptions of the small or minor arcana are much shorter. So you have a page here, and there are the keywords, the essential information about the Six of Wands or things like that. You see it here. And then the main focus is on artwork from different decks and how artists perceive these cards and express them. Very different, also feminist decks. There are symbolic artists, there are realistic artists. There is so much to see about it and to explore, and really strong pictures like this one. Really strong pictures that speak to you. And I think this is what is art about, speaking in some way different than language. And here we have the cups. Language is just one thing. And pictures are another, so you can see this here. Also the classics, of course, it is not just about modern decks or exotic decks or decks you did not know about. The classics are also into it. And here is a star tarot, for example. This is one I will definitely research. There are some pictures of it in the book, and this is when you see pictures coming up again, and you are like, ah, this one was in the book before. Then you start to look at it and yeah, start your research. But here is a wonderful deck from 1935 from England, for example. This is very beautiful too. So you have also historical decks, not just in the meaning of Renaissance decks, but also in the past, what was happening there. Not just in Wade and Crawley and things like that, but also other decks. They were not the only ones in those times who explored tarot. Yeah, so we have the swords with a wonderful Queen of Swords from Morgan Greer. This is one of the key cards of this deck. I would say it is so strong and so appealing. Yeah, many different swords cards are here to see. And then we of course have the Pentacles with many different cards. Of course, there's also a short introduction into the meanings of these cards. And at last you get to know the artists behind, the people behind it. For example, Pixie, Pamela Coleman Smith is here as maybe the most influential tarot artist in the world. We see people like Eliphas Levi, which did a lot on theory for tarot. We have, of course, wonderful pictures from Pixie again. We have here Samuel McGregor. Samuel, it's a tongue breaker, as we say in German, this name. Samuel McGregor Mathers. So now we have it. From Golden Dawn, one of the founders. And here we have Lady Frida Harris. She did the pictures of the Crawley Tarot. And it should be named Crawley Harris, therefore. And here is the Ace of Swords. This was that did not went into the deck. So you see, the artist had different approaches. There were many ideas. Tarot is not just carved in stone, so to say, and it was like this and it will always be like this. Sometimes we take things like a little bit for granted. If we know them, we think we know everything about them, and it is like a very solid view on them. But they are much more fluent, and there has happened much more in the history of this thing, and this is definitely one thing that is true for tarot. So here we have our enfant terrible, Mr. Crawley himself. It would be nice if there was a picture of Lady Harris too, just to say this. And here, of course, artist and tarot, Niki de Saint-Phal. She has to be mentioned in this matter. And yeah, the book is slowly running out. We see many artists here. Dali is very known. And the deck is still available. And then we get into the cards as a practical tool for advice, like a talking mirror. This chapter is named Visual Language and Creation of Meaning, and here we have Visual Mirror. Of course, we are not all old men with beards, but this is a nice picture to start this chapter with. And we see, yes, easy spread, 3-card Celtic cross. What more do you need, so to say? But these are the basics. It's not bad chosen. And yeah, and then there are some words for parting, and you have a bibliography, so you can do further research if you are interested. And yeah, that's the book. I really love it. As I've said it before, it is a wonderful book. When you want to go onto a visual discovery journey through the tarot cards, this is really learning by seeing, learning by feeling, and seeing all the facets that artists revealed and brought to life in tarot. Because in my opinion, the real meaning, the core of a tarot card, you cannot put it into pictures or into words, or it is something sacred, this is something mystical. So you can just have a feeling for it and try to show this feeling, this meaning. And this is what the cards are doing. And so you get many impressions of these feelings artists had for these energies. And it's really, yeah, it's mind-broadening. It is a wonderful book. And if you are into art or into tarot, I can really recommend it to you.